Bolivia charges ex-president Anez with genocide. La Paz, the Bolivian prosecutor's office announced on Friday that former acting President Jeanine Anez had been charged with genocide and other offenses in connection with the deaths of 20 opposition demonstrators in 2019. Attorney General Juan Lanchipa said he had presented documents against citizen Jeanine Anez before the country's Supreme Court of Justice, including charges for against citizen Jeanine Anez, which carries a sentence of 10 to 20 years in prison, according to the Bolivian Penal Code. After weeks of protests over his questionable re-election to an unlawful fourth term, Anez, a conservative, took power in November 2019 after her predecessor and competitor, former President Evo Morales, resigned. After an election audit by the Organization of American States, OAS, revealed evidence of fraud, he fled the country. Following the election, at least 37 people were killed in clashes between Morales supporters and opponents, as well as demonstrators and security forces. After Morales' flight, conflicts between supporters and security forces resulted in the majority of the killings. The specific charge leveled against Anez relates to two occurrences that occurred in November 2019 and resulted in the deaths of a total of 22 persons. The OAS described the incidents as massacres in a report released on Tuesday. They were provisionally classed as genocide, major and minor injury, and injury followed by death, according to Lanchipa. Bolivia's opposition has criticized the country's lack of separation of powers, claiming that the country's judiciary, electoral body, and public prosecutor's office are all loyal to leftist President Luis Arce, a member of Morales' Movement for Socialism, MAS. First and foremost, we must reform the court, which is not independent nor autonomous, said centrist lawmaker Alejandro Reyes. We won't be able to do anything until there's judicial reform. The matter is unlikely to get to court since the Supreme Court would have to seek Congress for permission to hold Anez liable for what transpired. A two-thirds majority is required for authorization, and while MAS controls Congress, it does not have a large enough majority. MAS may have lost the presidency to Anez for a year, but it never lost control of Congress. After Morales resigned, Anez was the most senior parliamentarian left, and despite the absence of a quorum and MAS MPs boycotting the session, he was sworn in as interim president by Congress. The MAS protested, accusing the temporary administration of staging a coup. Bolivia held calm, transparent elections in October 2020 under Anez's administration, in which Morales' protégé Arce stormed to a landslide victory. Following it, he promised to go after anyone he suspected of staging a coup. In March 2021, Anez was arrested on charges of plotting a coup against Morales. Other charges against her include terrorism, sedition, and conspiracy. Since then, she has been held in pre-trial custody. Her arrest was widely condemned around the world.